Tonight on ABC24 News at 6, a family robbed at a popular dining spot.
We're ticked off and we want to see justice served.
What the thieves were able to get away with and the changes the family wants city officials to take when it comes to solving crime. Plus, residents frustrated with reliability of MANA.
What we need a good transportation system. Each y'all know.
Why today's talks for the new property tax was pushed to the side. And it's the not guilty plea from a former president.
I think it's a rigged deal here. We have a rigged country.
The latest on what happened in a Florida courtroom as former President Donald Trump was arraigned on federal criminal charges. ABC24 News at 6 starts right now.
Live from WATN Memphis, this is ABC24 News at 6.
Terrifying moments for one mother and child after they were robbed outside a Midtown restaurant. Memphis police say this past Thursday night, 3 boys between the ages of 12 and 15 threatened a woman and an 11-year-old at gunpoint outside of Rail Garden. Good evening, and thanks for joining me for ABC24 News at 6. I'm Noah Sershin. Richard Ransom has the evening off. This event has that family wondering tonight what can be done. Our Stephen Reels joins us live there from Rail Garden tonight. And Stephen, I understand you were able to speak with that boy. How is he doing tonight?
That 11-year-old is in remarkably good spirits, but they do say they really wish they could forget what happened Thursday night, but they can't. Now, out of an abundance of caution, the child's father asked that we not say their name or the family's name, but they did say that the 11-year-old has started therapy this week, beginning a much-needed road to recovery. And in the midst of all that, the family is outraged that this kind of robbery happened in the first place. A moment that was meant to be happy, instead taken away in a matter of minutes.
The next thing I know is I saw him in his mother's arms.
Thursday night, a band was performing its first gig in decades at Rail Garden when one of the band members' kids and family friend was robbed at gunpoint in this nearby parking lot. Seen in the surveillance video, Memphis police said 3 suspects between the age of 12 and 15 years old drove up in a silver sedan and threatened the 2 victims with an AK-style gun and a smaller pistol, eventually making off with cash, credit cards, and an iPhone. The 11-year-old told ABC24 he remains traumatized. It was one of the scariest moments of their life.
What is he going to do? And they choose to put a gun to his temple. We're ticked off and we want to see justice served.
Days later, the boy's family is waiting for updates in the case and any arrests.
And my son is wondering every day, have they caught him yet? Have they caught him?
That father said what city leaders are doing right now isn't working and wants more resources for police officers and harsher punishments for anyone who pulls a gun and robs others.
But I want them off the street, not only for my family, but there's a lot of other families that they're attacking right now. It's pretty traumatic, and we want to make it better.
And Rudy and Pepper, we did reach out to Marathon Management over the phone. They're the company that owns this parking lot you see behind me. They declined to comment, but anyone who knows anything about what happened Thursday night is asked to call Crime Stoppers. You know that number now, 901-528-CASH. Live in Midtown, I'm Stephen Reels.
Very scary for that family. Glad they're doing okay. Thanks, Stephen. Us here at ABC24 are all about keeping you safe. We know this topic can be hard to explain to your children, so we want to share some tips to teens and children on how to avoid becoming a victim of a robbery. Experts say you should avoid listening to music as it can distract you from dangers. They also say not to play on your phone. While it may seem like a normal thing to do, a mugger may see this as you being vulnerable. It might also be something a mugger wants to steal. As you walk, make sure to look around. Walk with your head up and look from side to side occasionally. Also, travel on well-lit streets. The better lit a street is, the less likely a person will try to mug you. Finally, if you think you're in a high-risk location, you can lower your chances of being mugged by walking with a group. Muggers are much less likely to approach a group of people when they can simply target an individual. We have new and startling numbers tonight on just how bad the vehicle theft crisis is here in Memphis. MPD reports vehicle thefts are up 150% this year, but they say this isn't only prevalent to Memphis. Over the weekend, 91 cars were reported stolen. This year, that number is more than 7,000. This puts Memphis on the top of the list against 5 major cities. The Detroit Police Department reported over 4,400 thefts, while Baltimore and St. Louis Police Departments reported nearly 9,000 vehicle thefts. Atlanta reported a little over 2,000 thefts, while the Metro Nashville Police Department reported 1,737 vehicle thefts. And we're following some breaking news now out of Westwood, where a man is dead after a shooting. It happened on Longview Street near West Rains Road. Memphis police say they arrived to the scene after 4, where they found the victim dead. The person who police believe is the shooter left in a green Chevy SUV. No arrests have been made. We'll let you know when we learn any new details. We turn to a new development now. Demarion Tackett, the 15-year-old accused of killing a well-known watermelon vendor here in Memphis, was in court today, where the state ordered a notice of transfer. But before that can happen, the judge ordered a psychological evaluation. Tackett was set to be arraigned on other charges, including the murder of that fruit vendor, John Materna. The court-appointed attorney told the judge today that the family has hired a private attorney. He is set to be in court again on July 3rd. We have an update for you now. The inmate who escaped from a St. Francis County jail has been captured. Officials say Jonathan Palman was booked into jail last night around 10 in Parkin, Arkansas. He was taken into custody with no incident. Officials confirmed they found a campsite close to the St. Francis River. He set up the area on his own with a tent, tarp, and food he stole from a nearby residence. Authorities said he had been working on a garden detail when he escaped. He was last seen around 8:30 Friday night, leaving in a white four-door pickup belonging to the county. The truck was later found abandoned in Cross County. Palman is charged with first-degree murder and abuse of a corpse. He was arrested in January after St. Francis authorities executed a search warrant and found a body behind a camper. The police officer who shot an unarmed 11-year-old boy in Indianola, Mississippi, has been placed on suspension without pay. That's according to the alderman there. Adarian Murray was shot in the chest by Officer Greg Capers during a domestic call. The boy called cops on his mother's ex-boyfriend. When officers arrived, they ordered everyone out of the house with their hands in the air and shot the boy. His family wants more to be done. However, they are demanding that Officer Capers is fired. They also want criminal charges filed against him. The police officer involved wants the NBI to release body cam video, which he says will clear his name. We're taking a live look outside now, courtesy of our T-Dot Smartway camera. You're looking at the I-240 Midtown Junction, where we're seeing clear skies, but that won't be the case tomorrow morning. Let's get a first check of our forecast with meteorologist Trevor Burchett.
Well, we're not seeing any rain right now, but we are watching a chance of some thunderstorms a little bit later tonight. These are going to come in way after most of us are asleep. In fact, most of them going to be after 2 a.m. But if you're waking up early tomorrow morning, you are likely going to run into some thunderstorms. In fact, we've got several rounds of thunderstorms through the day tomorrow. One of those rounds going to come in the morning for that morning commute. So plan ahead. Things looking a little stormy tomorrow morning. 9 a.m. to noon, looking pretty dry, but it does look like more thunderstorms are going to develop as we go into the afternoon and into the evening. High temperatures right around 83 degrees tomorrow. This is the reason why we have this front down to our south. We call it a stationary front because it just kind of hangs around the same area for days. And as long as that front is nearby, it is going to keep providing us with the chance of some showers and thunderstorms for the next several days. And some of the storms that come in tomorrow could actually be a little stronger. We'll tell you what threats they might pose and when those storms might be in your neighborhood. That's in the full forecast in just a little bit.
All right, Trevor, we'll see you then. Thanks. There's some sort of divide on Memphis-Shelby County City Council about raising the property tax. Today, City Council members decided that it might be best to postpone a vote until later this month. ABC24's Jay Shakur is at City Hall tonight, and Jay, tax increases are never easy for politicians to support. Is that why today's discussion got sidelined?
That's basically it. You know, anytime you talk about tax increases, it can be controversial. And this 29-cent increase is significant and has both supporters and detractors. Supporters say that it needs even more funding for MATA. The 8-cent MATA funding of the 29-cent increase that Councilman Jones is suggesting would give about $11 million for MATA. And even Jones admits that's not enough to keep up with the $15 million MATA says it needs. Others on the council, like Cheyenne Johnson, said her constituents need to see tangible changes in city services in exchange for a tax increase. She and other council members weren't sure today if that would happen with increased funding for the bus and public transportation service, but MATA riders and transportation activists gathered at City Hall today, urging the council to go even further and give MATA the $15 million MATA wants to maintain the status quo. They say MATA and Memphians have long needed more affordable and reliable transit, and it's time for the city to make that investment.
We just cannot continue to just look at raising taxes to fund public transportation, but it should be a high priority.
We're urging to ask the city council for $15.4 million, but we have a stimulation behind it, and it will be accountability. If it's not accountability, then we're going to stay on matter until we as citizens get what we need and want for better services. We're going to keep coming back until we see justice for this.
Now, City Council isn't expected to vote on this until their next meeting at the end of the month. At City Hall, I'm Jay Shakur.
Thanks, Jay. Well, this morning, Memphis Police Chief C.J. Davis reiterated that the Greenlaw Community Center in Uptown will not hold youth curfew violators. It will instead provide daytime programming for young people. Last month, Memphis Mayor Jim Strickland said the center would have been used to hold juveniles. This caused confusion all around the city. The City Council asked MPD to come back in 2 weeks to talk about budgeting for this center. Former President Trump pleaded not guilty to 37 charges in court this afternoon, alleging he mishandled classified documents that stored information about exposing America's vulnerability to a military attack. Cameras are not allowed inside a federal court, but we did know that Trump did not speak and sat hunched over with his arms crossed through much of the process. The proceedings lasted 45 minutes. Hundreds of his supporters were outside of the court building in Miami. Now, if convicted, Trump could serve multiple decades in prison. Next on ABC24 News at 6, a campaign promise, now a reality. One representative has filed articles of impeachment against President Biden and Kamala Harris. Find out the ties this politician has to the state of Tennessee and why his attempts of impeachment might be a long shot. Plus, the autopsy of the Covenant shooter has been released. The questions this autopsy is raising. And later, reminiscing on war. How music is bringing back the memories and helping veterans remember the past. In the news right now, a Tennessee Republican representative has introduced articles of impeachment against President Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris. This is all a part of a promise Andy Ogles made during his campaign, but the chances of this impeachment actually happening is pretty slim. See, a 2/3 majority of the Senate is required to convict. If a president is acquitted by the Senate, the impeachment trial is over. Only a few Republicans are in support of this impeachment. Ogles said he believes the president should be stripped of his position and held responsible for what he calls high crimes against the United States. The autopsy of Audrey Hale, the Covenant shooter who killed 6 people, has been released. It confirms that she was killed, not suicide. The autopsy said Hale died from multiple gunshot wounds, including shots to the head and torso. The autopsy said Hale had blunt force trauma all throughout their body. We have learned that the shooter was wearing a white t-shirt and bra covered with handwritten words, drawings, and numbers. The coroner did not release what those were. These writings raise more questions since the motive for the shooter is unknown. Multiple groups are suing to read the shooter's manifesto. A teacher group is challenging a new state law that bans teacher unions from deducting membership dues from their paychecks. The Tennessee Education Association is not happy about this law, which also gradually raises the teacher's minimum salary to $50,000 a year in 5 years. The association is for the raise but against the paycheck deductions. The group's lawsuit wants to keep the pay raise in place but block the ban on membership deductions. We're expecting scattered showers across the Mid-South tomorrow, and some could pack a punch. Meteorologist Trevor Burchett is in with your certified most accurate forecast after the break.
Right now, the Mid-South certified most accurate forecast.
All right, friends, good Tuesday evening to you. Not finding any rain right now, but as we go later on into tonight, I do expect a batch of thunderstorms to come in. Anytime after 2 a.m. tonight, some thunderstorms going to be rolling through, so you might be woken up by some heavy rain, maybe even some thunder and lightning. And those storms will continue into tomorrow. In fact, I think we've got several rounds of storms that are going to come in through the day tomorrow. It's not just going to be a steady rain all day long, but at any point in the day tomorrow, there could be a quick downpour. High temperature right around 84 degrees. Here's what I mean, that we're going to have several rounds. Look at the rain chances through the day tomorrow. They're pretty high in the morning. I expect a morning batch of rain and then a little break by lunchtime before another batch of showers and storms by the afternoon and the evening. Let's check that out on the hour-by-hour radar right now. Of course, not picking up any rain, and most of tonight will be dry. But we're going to stop the clock by around 3 or 4 in the morning. That's when some thunderstorms are going to start to move in here. And check out 7 a.m. Could have some heavier rain and heavier thunderstorms in parts of the Mid-South through the morning. Now, again, it looks like we're going to get a little break by lunchtime tomorrow. But as we go into the afternoon, another chance of some of those pop-up showers and thunderstorms in at least parts of the Mid-South. And some of those storms could continue through dinner time tomorrow before all of that rain moves out. So bottom line is, at any point in the day tomorrow, you could have a thunderstorm pop up on top of your head. And some of the storms tomorrow could be a little stronger, just like those summertime storms we have been seeing. We've got a threat of damaging wind gusts, 40 to 50 miles an hour. Heavy rain could cause some street flooding for a period of time, especially for that morning commute tomorrow. And some of the strongest storms could even produce some quarter-sized hail like what we saw on Sunday. So keep an eye out for that. Fortunately, it is summertime, so tornadoes very unlikely. So just to recap all of that, through the day tomorrow, some spotty thunderstorms. Looks like around in the morning and then more storms in the afternoon. Gusty winds and hail are possible, but it does look like we're going to get a break from the storms on Thursday. Those rain chances go down. But by Friday, another batch of thunderstorms in the evening and then slight rain chances through the weekend. I don't think it's going to rain all weekend long, but a couple of those pop-up thunderstorms not completely out of the question. I also want to let you know the temperatures are going back up. We've been seeing some cooler air the last several days, but as we go into Friday and the weekend, we are going to notice those temperatures starting to climb. 7-day forecast shows us the chance of some spotty storms early in the morning and then more storms tomorrow afternoon. Thursday looks okay, 87, a little warmer with some sunshine. Friday, we're going to watch out for some storms in the evening, and then again, the weekend will be mostly dry. It's not going to rain all weekend long by any means, but there could be a couple of pop-up thunderstorms here or there, especially on Sunday. Notice it does get hotter, highs around 90, and it's going to stay hot into next week, 90 degrees for Monday and Tuesday.
Good thing we're talking about the lower 90s. Thanks, Trevor. A Tennessee nonprofit is making veterans smile one song at a time. For the past 8 years, it's been traveling to VA hospitals recording songs for veterans. ABC24 photographer Sheila Whaley has the story.
Now you can get wounded in Vietnam on your first patrol.
I look back into that endless hell, and I see all the stories God chose me to tell.
I lost men whose names I sometimes can't remember.
I am the messenger.
But nobody told me I'd never forget their face.
Our organization teams veterans with professional songwriters. They tell us their story, and we turn them into songs.
My song is about me and my dad. My dad was in the Navy. As a matter of fact, he was in World War II.
When he served in World War II.
He said that the African-American sailors didn't eat with the Caucasian sailors. It was two separate worlds.
After segregated training, we still had to fight together.
I became a disabled Vietnam-era veteran. The doctor told me that he accidentally sterilized me, and my father helped me to live again.
I never got to have children because of one doctor's mistake.
Oh yes, it hurts. But we have to talk to other veterans.
When my grief and pain took over, and I felt I couldn't move, my understanding Father always came to my rescue.
We have 22 military-related suicides a day in this country. If all these years I've been doing this, I'd have saved one life, I would have traded every gold and platinum record on my wall.
if we can't talk, we can sing, we can play music, but we have to get it out.
Now there's angels watching over me in the journey of my life.
Oh, what a beautiful story there. Thanks, Sheila. Well, the Denver Nuggets may have won the national championship, but the worry is still on for Grizzlies' Ja Morant. Clayton Collier will have that and more in the 901 next. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
Welcome into the 901. Now that the NBA Finals are over and the Nuggets are planning their parade, we await the NBA's ruling on Ja Morant. And as Denver celebrated its first title, Ja Morant was trending on Twitter. So much for the league's plan to withhold their findings to avoid distracting from the finals, right? The Nuggets championship parade is on Thursday. Well, former Grizzlies lead assistant Darko Rajakovic was introduced as the head coach of the Toronto Raptors Tuesday. At the podium, Rajakovic thanked the Grizzlies for his 3 years in Memphis.
Being the last 3 years in Memphis with Taylor Jenkins and Zach Kleiman and the team there, I just completely started embracing the NBA and really seeing that this can happen, that actually I can be here one day and being a head coach of NBA organization. So I'm very, very thankful and grateful for all the people in my life that helped me on this road.
Well, Colorado continues to weigh its options between the Pac-12 and Big 12. If the Buffaloes do leave, it will restart the wheels of conference realignment. But Pete Thamel of ESPN reports that while right now Memphis is interested in joining the Big 12, the Big 12 prefers other Pac-12 teams or UConn over Memphis. Big 12 Commissioner Brett Yormark denied a report that he visited Memphis recently. Well, South Florida saw Memphis's Liberty Stadium renovation package and said, "I'll raise you an on-campus arena." USF's Board of Trustees approved a $340 million plan for the Bulls' new 35,000-seat arena, expected to open in 2026. With your 901, I'm Clayton Collier.
Well, good news for energy customers in Mississippi. You will see a decrease in your bills. This will start in July. The deduction will consist of $7.08 per 1,000 kilowatts hours on a monthly basis. Trevor's in next with a final check of the forecast. Finally tonight, the Wynn High School will have a new temporary home that they will be in for the next few years. Wynn unveiled renderings of their temporary high school location. Renderings show what the temporary school will look like right behind the administration building. School Superintendent Dr. Kenneth Moore said that this is not going to be just trailers, but something students can be proud of. They hope to have the temporary space ready to go by the end of July when school starts.
All right, friends, no rain right now, but I do expect thunderstorms to move in late tonight, and some thunderstorms going to continue into tomorrow morning, even into tomorrow afternoon. So just be aware at any point tomorrow there could be some thunderstorms. Some could be heavy. Hail a possibility in some of the storms. Sunshine on Thursday, high of 87. Looking like another round of storms Friday evening, but some good news. Most of the weekend is going to turn out dry. Just a slight chance of thunderstorms, especially on Sunday. Notice it does get hotter again. Highs back to near 90 for the weekend and early next week.
Thanks, Trevor. Well, that's all the time we have for ABC24 News at 6. We'll see you back here tonight for the news at 9 on CW30 Memphis and then at 10 on ABC. Have a great evening.